Hey, since you're not around to watch me juice, I thought I'd tape it. This particular recipe is called a green machine. And this is what it calls for. It calls for like 6 to 8 leaves of kale. So I washed my kale and I spinned it to get some of the water out because it's really awful when I start chopping it up and there's water everywhere. So I try to get it as dry as I can. And then it calls for a cucumber, 2 apples. I usually use a red apple, but I only had a red and green, so I have a green and a red apple. I don't know how that's going to turn out. 4 stalks of celery, half a lemon, but this lemon is really tiny, so I'm using a whole lemon, and some ginger. And I like a lot of ginger, so mine is kind of big. It might be too spicy, but I don't care. It says, I think it said like a tablespoon of ginger. Okay, then I'm going to chop it on here. I'm going to put it in this bowl, and then I'm going to feed it into my hopper. So, throw it in my bowl, alternate it with my kale, because you don't want to put the kale separate. I got an apple. You can't put seeds in there, you have to take the seeds out. The lemon. Gotta make sure you get those seeds out, which I don't like. And garlic. And more kale. So then we're done. There it is, my stuff for juicing. This is for the pulp. This is for the juice. Okay, I'm going to start juicing. Here's the juicer. This is for the juice. This is for the pulp. And I lined the thing for the pulp. And then I've got my basket of vegetables. I mean my bowl of vegetables. You want to make sure everything's ready because you don't want this spinning without vegetables in it, because all it's going to do is add air in here and it might end up with more foam. Okay, you turn it on and start throwing these things down here. And make the noises normal, supposedly. And I'm very sloppy. Things go flying all over the place. But you want to alternate the hard stuff with the greens. Okay, so here's the pulp. And all I do is take the bag out and throw it away. And see how nice and clean this is? Although I take this off, you turn it to open, turn it this way, flip it off. This part is usually clean, but I wipe it. And then this part, all you do is take the top off. It's got a little bit of goodies under there. Take this off. I'm using my left hand, so it's kind of weak. Take this off. This has some goodies under there. And this comes on here like this. And then you have the little thing in here that you take off. So, I'm just going to rinse it. If you rinse this, it already looks nice and clean. That hand is so weak. It already looks nice and clean. There's nothing on it. Throw it in the water. This one, rinse it. Already rinsed nice and clean, but I wash it. This thing, rinses nice and clean, but I wash it. This thing. And you have to do a little bit of digging out in here, with that little brush they gave you. I'm digging out in here. Okay, I dried the parts. They tell you to dry the parts, and I usually put it on the towel like this and just let it sit and make sure it's dried all the way through. And it's real easy to put it together. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. But anyway, this thing goes under here. So you just push it in there. This has a red mark here. And this has a red mark somewhere. Anyway, right there. There it is, the red mark. So you put the red mark with the red mark and push it down. Then you sit this thing in here like that. And then you put this on the top. Oops, wrong way. Put this on the top. And this also has a red mark. I'm not doing this very well with one hand, but anyway, there's a red mark here and there's a arrow here. Where's the arrow? So the arrow points to the red mark. Then when you, after you put it on the unit, you just turn it to close. And that's it. See how easy that is? There's a unit. You just sit it on the unit. And here's my drink. Here's the leftovers. And here's my drink. And I just had a few sips of it. And it is so ono. And I put the right amount of ginger this time. Last time I put a little bit too much ginger. So anyway, that's how you make the juice.